Here, good. Yeah. Well, you missed a pretty. I mean, okay. Well, the game wasn't very interesting,
Yeah.
based on the score, but Aaron Rodgers might be back.
Well, when I woke up, I just wanted to see if my over went, and it didn't. But I saw 24-3. I'm like, fuck. I went to bed and it was 24-3, but I forgot it was 14-3. I was
Yes.
like, well, at least he scored some touchdowns, so it wasn't too boring for you.
He
But
he he looks good. They put Drake May in for garbage time,
okay,
which
is that how that
was
went?
I was confused by that. I wasn't quite sure if I liked that or not. Because he was. Um. Well, you know how Jacoby Brissett was kind of murdered.
I just see it now. His shoulder pads showing this way, his helmet's
The
this
the Drake
way.
May kind of got hit. His first hit, he got drilled right
So
into
you
the
got
ground.
the
It's
welcome to the NFL.
like it's like welcome to the NFL, but it's like there's a reason why you started Jacoby Brissett. Why are you doing that? Oh
Yeah,
no, that looks so bad. Oh, it didn't look good. Although I thought it would have been hilarious because he kind of moved them down the field too, and then they
yeah.
let the clock expire. But like if they had like another minute and a half, he might have scored a touchdown, which means he would have had more touchdowns than Jaden Daniels. Uh, who is it? Caleb Williams. I don't think has a touchdown yet,
Yeah,
or Bo Nix.
yeah, yeah.
So that would have been that would have been interesting. Hey, let's get started. And welcome to the Friday Forecast, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at Stay Tuned Sports. I'm your boy King. That is your good friend Jimbo right over there. And this is our weekly picks and prediction show where we go ahead and try to tell you who's going to win, who's going to lose. Not very correctly, but we try. We do try very much. Uh, in fact, I think I had the records down. Hold on, maybe I still got it. I believe you're 17 and 15, and I am 13 and 19 so far on the season. So not great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're at least three games
Yeah.
ahead of above 500. I am 6 games below. Yeah, not great. Not great.
Well, you're trying to be like the Giants.
It's that you know what the first week really effed me in the A, man.
Yeah.
It did the old. I only got 5 wins on the first week because I was like, I'm pretty confident. I think I know where these are going. All right, let's go. And then it was just like, nope, no idea, no zero clue about what the hell was going on. Did a little bit better last week for week 2. I think I got 9 wins. I think, well, 9,
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. No,
Eight.
had to be 8 because I had 5 on a week 1. So,
Yeah.
math! So, yeah. First of all, yes, thank you for joining us here on the Friday Forecast. If you like what you're watching, please like, share, subscribe. It helps us out immensely. You have no idea how much it helps. Again, subscriptions. We're trying to go to monetization. Hopefully get this channel up there. We have a goal of 100 right now.
Yes.
I think we got a couple of bumps up from yesterday. I think we're at 71, 72,
Yes.
somewhere around there.
Yep. 71.
So we're there. We're chugging. You can help us out, and of course, the goal of monetization is for, of course, me and Jimbo to say something stupid, and then get immediately demonetized. So
Yeah.
that's kind of that's the goal. That's what we're going for. Also, the likes help us in the algorithm. You know, you know all this. You hear all the YouTubers say all this all the time. Please give us likes because it helps us in the algorithm. Please subscribe because it helps us get monetization and helps us also get in the algorithm. Like it's all that stuff. All those things, all those little buttons down there, it helps us out a lot. Thank you so very much. And also, hey, if you want to help us out, we have the donation station QR code up there, yeah, that way. And then the merch store QR code is over there. Those links are also down in the description as well as the link to our Discord, where you can come and hang out. Because it's kind of quiet in there right now. Again, we've just kind of started all this stuff, as I was explaining last night on the live stream. The YouTube thing is fairly new to us as far as going this we're going really hard into it now. So like it's very hard. We're going deep and hard right now into the YouTube. Just kind of getting into it, just getting new. So again, everything you guys could do, all the little buttons and links you can click, always helps us out. Thank you so very much. Anyway, Jimbo, last night, as we were just talking about here, Aaron Rodgers looking like the old Aaron Rodgers, man. Looking like the old Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I saw that one touchdown pass he threw to was it Garrett Wilson?
I think it was Wilson, right? Yeah, where it was just kind of right where it needed to be, and it's like
I could make that pass. Hey, it's Friday, a long day. Brain is mush right now, so I would like to think
it was a warm day. So, considering your job at a place that shall not be named,
yes.
No, you don't work at Voldemort, but apparently we can't name it anyway. Still recovering from a little bit of a sickness there, in case you can't tell. Yeah, no, your brain might be fried from that place, just from from the heat that's in there. Maybe some of the fumes. I'm sure the fumes aren't great when you're working with metal like that. But hey, it's still no. Here's the thing. I've known you for a very long time. You've been like this forever, so I'm not gonna blame place of business for your kind of thinking skills.
And if you need evidence of what King's talking about, just go back to this past Tuesday's power rankings. He supposedly doesn't like my power rankings.
Listen. I still don't understand how you have the Colts in there at 0-2. Like and they were out of your rankings the week before, and you put them in, and they jumped. They're my blood pressure.
Yeah,
is what you do. To me. So yeah, was there any other news that came out? Nothing. I don't think anything really came out as of yet. Jordan Love's still practicing full pads for the Packers. It doesn't seem like he's going to start, which I think we had discussed a little bit. It was like probably the best is.
And I think we agree that he should be active at least.
Maybe he will be. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but he might be.
Yeah.
But again, I think let him either be the backup, or if you have him inactive or whatever you're going to do, don't start him on that Tennessee field, the fake grass, the field turf, which, he's just coming off the knee. Like, let him come back on a natural surface, I think, first. So, and I know they have the Vikings coming up. I'm not sure if they're at the Vikings or if they're at Green Bay, but the week after this one. So after they play the Titans, they'll be playing the Vikings. I think that is where he will end up getting the start. If he's already back this quickly, I think that's what we're looking for there. And, of course, the Rams and the Niners are just a mash unit. Everybody's injured. And it's just it's a mess. It's just a mess. And so those are all things that we have to take into consideration when we're looking through these picks. And, hey, you know what? Screw it. Why further ado this stuff? So without any further of the adoing, let's take a look over here at what we have for our picks. There they are, all magically right there in front of us. All right, well, we both won yesterday. We both picked the Jets to win over the Patriots, and sure enough, they did. So now that we have that out of the way, we see the next game is going to be the Giants and the Browns, and I can't pick the Giants yet until they show me they can win. And they played better last week against the Washington football team, the Redskin Commanders. Probably should have won if Brian Daboll would have put a backup kicker into an open roster spot that he had. The Giants had 32 dressed players. They had 50. They had 52 dressed players. So, and you're allowed 53. They had an open spot. He knew Graham Gano had a groin issue, and guess what he didn't do? He didn't put the Giants' backup kicker on the active roster. And what happens on the first play of the game? There's a dynamic kickoff return where Gano pulls his hamstring, groin, something. He pulled something, couldn't come back in the game, and the Giants couldn't kick. And that ultimately led to us, was definitely a contributing factor to us losing that game. That and our defense is just straight up booty cheeks. So, again, until the Giants can show me that they can win, that the coaching can be competent, that the defense can show up, that our defensive coaching has gotten a full frontal lobotomy and changed their entire way of thinking. Again, no matter how much Daniel Jones improves, no matter how good Malik Neighbors is, no matter how good Devin Singletary is as a running back, the Giants are not going to do anything. So they have to show me first, as much of a Giants fan as I am, I'm going with the Browns. Jimbo, why are you going with the goddamn Browns?
Well, first I'll say this. You said that the Giants played better. I would say more so the offense played better. Defense still sucked.
No, defense was atrocious. Like I said,
I wouldn't say as a team they played better. But.
I get the whole bend don't break, but when you still don't allow when you let the opponent score in every drive, even if it is field goals, when you don't get a single punt in the game, that's not good defense. And when a team scores the equivalent of 3 touchdowns against you to beat you, that's not good defense.
No.
So then you have the Browns. So the question I have to ask you, Jimbo, is are you a fan of accused rapists? And
no, this is more I think the Browns defense is going to win this game for them. Deshaun, yes, he did have a better game last week compared to week 1. I'm still not sure if that Deshaun is fully back yet, or was that just a mirage? But this defense going up against a slightly below so-so offense, again, we only saw one decent game out of this offense. And when you have Myles Garrett going up against a average offensive line, I actually may be picking them in my daily fantasy team this week to be my defense.
What a week. What a week for Daniel Jones to throw for 6 touchdowns, 425 yards. That would be the greatest. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy that immensely. It's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. But what a week for it to happen. If it was going to happen, what a week for it.
I always give the kiss of death to these defenses.
So I picked the Browns because I just don't trust the Giants yet. You picked the Browns because you love Deshaun Watson and what he does in massage parlors and with the young ladies around the country. That's clearly that case. So, I mean, I think there's nothing else to be said, and we'll move on.
I guess that's you reading between the lines.
The lines that are in the legal report, maybe. We got the Bears and the Colts next. We both picked the Colts. I clearly know why you picked the Colts, because you have them in your power rankings at 0-2, thinking that there's this is a powerhouse 0-2 team. They really belong right up there in the top 12, don't they, buddy?
Really are. I picked them because of their awesome fan that does the hype videos for them every week. This week he had the Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders joining him for his hype song.
Oh, he's starting to get viral, and now he's starting to get the stuff. By the way, hey, listen. God bless him. Good for you, man. I hope you enjoyed your time.
Caleb Williams, I'm not kind of like what you said, I believe, on this past week's show. I'm not saying he's a bust, but I think he's equal to Justin Fields when Justin Fields was there.
I'm not going to say that yet. But he has weapons around him. He has those things. The Bears, they have weapons. The Bears' offensive line has some issues.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. And I think Caleb is having a little bit of a struggle adjusting to the NFL game. And that's normal. That's fine. He's a rookie. That's supposed to happen. But a lot like we mentioned on the live stream last night, and we've said it, I think, a couple times, probably on the main show, probably on the live stream. Having a rookie quarterback, I feel like hopefully what you're going to see soon, like with what the Falcons did with Penix, where everybody made fun of them, but I honestly think that is the best move to do. And what you're seeing with kind of how Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and Caleb Williams have played in the first 2 weeks, and how nobody has a goddamn touchdown yet. And it's like, listen, C.J. Stroud was an anomaly. 1,000%. C.J. Stroud is just an anomaly of a player. You can't base like, oh, well, we drafted somebody number 1 overall, or we drafted somebody in the first round. They need to start. Like that's the kind of thinking I think that needs to fade away. And again, you're seeing the Falcons now jump on the bandwagon. When Arthur Blank had that press conference, and he sat there and he said, what we're basically trying to do is do the Packers system, which is draft a quarterback in the first round, somebody who we think is really good, we really like, has a lot of talent, and then sitting his ass down behind a veteran quarterback who is very good, if not great, learning the game, learning the NFL game, because it's a lot different. Listen, I think it's going to be no different. Like, think of it as NFL redshirting.
Yeah.
You know, like college. You know, you always the freshmen are always redshirted. Think of this as an NFL redshirt, and it's for your future. Like, look at what happened with Jordan Love. When Jordan Love first got in the league and he played his first couple preseason games, and everybody was like, "Oh, the Packers traded up and drafted for this guy? Oh my God, this guy sucks dick. He's the worst. He's such an ass. Oh my God, he's so ass. What are the Packers doing? No wonder Aaron Rodgers is pissed." Blah, 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 blah. We fast forward 3 years later. Now he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. The Packers fans are losing their minds because if he was injured any further, their season's over. Like, he's the key to the Packers getting to the playoffs. Like, that's the difference. That's what happens. Yeah. I think throwing Caleb Williams right into the mix is bad. And look at what happened to Bryce Young down in Carolina.
See, the difference, though, between Caleb and Bryce Young now, and the other 2 rookies that are starting too, you can't go back. You gotta let them learn now on the job, because if you, especially Caleb Williams, I still think there's a lot of I guess mental growing up to do. I think if you were to bench him right now, it would destroy him.
Well, no, because you've already committed to it, and that's what I mean. You've already committed to it, so now you can't do the Packers plan now because you've already said he's. And not only that, who the fuck is the Bears' backup? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I looked see if you can look that up for me real quick and see who the Bears' backup is, because that's, you like, and I agree with you to that point that once you've committed to now you're starting this rookie quarterback, you're starting your number 1 pick, you can't go back and do like, oh, well, we're actually going to sit him and let him look at the game and absorb the game and see what's happening and do all that kind of stuff. Like, you've already broken that seal, as it were.
Their backup is Tyson Bagent, Bagent, B-A-G-E-N-T. Bagent?
B-A-G...
B-A-G-E-N-T.
Bagant?
Yeah.
Baggins? Shia Baggins?
And that's the only other quarterback they have on their team. So they got 2 quarterbacks, that's it, on their starting roster.
So for the Bears, it's Caleb or nothing.
Yeah.
And listen, they're playing in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson, I think, right now currently is a better NFL quarterback. I think the Colts are a better team than the Bears right now as it stands. Despite what happened in Week 2 in Green Bay, I still think the Colts are better, and that's why I think we both picked them. Next game. This one's going to be interesting, but again, we're kind of in lockstep here. We both picked the Vikings over the Strouds there, the Texans. I'm not super convinced, but I'm going to go with the Vikings because, again, people have been talking about how great the Texans look, Maybe I'm just dumb, which is very clear. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. That's 1,000%, probably the most likely of possibilities. If we're talking about percentages, probably I'm just stupid.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the impressiveness, I guess, that some other people have seen. Like, especially on Sunday night, too. Like, yeah, they won, but It was an ugly win to me. Like, it
Yeah.
looked ugly to me. Like, the first quarter and, like, the beginning of the second quarter, yeah, CJ Stroud looked great. Like, the Texans looked like, all right, they're moving the ball. You know, he looked good, everything like that. But, like, after, like, the 11, 10-minute mark of the second quarter, both teams, but the Texans as well, just kind of it just turned into a molasses kind of game. And then it was just like punt and punt and punt and punt and punt and punt, and it was like it was not great football. So I haven't really seen that yet, and now we know that Justin Jefferson is going to play against the Texans. The Vikings are at home, and let's face facts. I'm sorry, Sam Darnold has looked great, not just against the Giants, who are easy to look good against, especially with that defense, but against the 49ers. And again, I know the 49ers are injured, but again, the Texans' defense isn't that great either.
Yeah.
Like, and CJ Stroud doesn't play defense. So I feel like that's my reasoning for putting the Vikings in there.
I mean, as far as I go, kind of same thinking there. They had a tough time beating the Bears, which is not a good team right now. They had a tough time beating, I believe, Indianapolis first week, and Minnesota hasn't had trouble at all. I mean, like you said, granted, it's the Giants' defense, but they played a 49ers defense that was, for the most part, healthy and upset at them. So that's why I took the Vikings. I don't want to say it's going to be a close game because, I mean, it could be another 15, 20-point difference, but I just don't think the Texans are that bad of a team.
I don't think the Texans are bad. I think they're good, and so I don't think it's going to be that. But I think they should win.
Yeah.
It feels like that. And again, you're talking to somebody who's got a 13-19 overall record in his picks, so heavy pinch of salt. Little oregano, maybe some paprika, and a heavy pinch of
Italian
salt.
seasoning.
Yes, little Mrs. Dash, Mrs. Dash in there. Get a little Mrs. Dash. This one I think you picked just because you're angry. I think you're just angry at Kellen Moore.
We're not talking about this one.
I think you're just mad at Kellen Moore, and you're letting your emotions get a hold of you.
No. Legally, I am not allowed to talk about this game.
Is it part of the bail release? All right, yes. I get it. I'm picking the Saints right now because I think they're a hottest team. I think they're the hottest team in the league right now. Like I said, they've scored 44 points or more in their first two games. First team to do that since the 2009 Saints. Alvin Kamara looks great. Derek Carr looks great. He dragged his nuts all over the Cowboys last game and got fined for it. Doing a little bit of the which is unfortunate. But, and this is the thing too, and I think this is the biggest reason I'm doing it, is because that Eagles run defense is a big question mark.
Yeah.
And having Alvin Kamara kind of face off against that, I think that's going to be the major difference. Now, if I'm the Eagles, hand the ball off to Saquon.
Yeah.
Give Saquon the ball, let him be the game changer, and that, I think, gives the Eagles a chance to win and can win. Yeah. But for me, they're in New Orleans, they're in the Dome. The Saints have been playing like this, and since the Saints have been playing like this, and again, they just went to Arlington, and AT&T Stadium and beat the ever-loving piss out of them, and now they're going back. That place is going to be loud and rocking, and just everybody. I mean, people are going to be drunk at 6 a.m. in the morning. Well, people are drunk at 6 a.m. all the time in New Orleans, so I don't think that's any different. But like, the people are going to be ready. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be raucous, and good luck trying to get a snap count if you're the Eagles. So that's why I went with the Saints. Again, I think you went with the Saints just because you're emotional. You're just an emotional boy right now. After that Monday night game.
I'll say this. This really is why I took the Saints. I mean, if you look at both offenses with AJ Brown in there, because I just saw on the scroller that he is still hurt, but there is a slight chance he may play. So I'm basing it off of him not playing because it's a hamstring injury. Saints without AJ Brown, the Saints gained a little bit of a head of the Eagles offense. Then, like you said, when you factor in not even just that run defense. I mean, yeah, that run defense is just
But who
they
that run
should be
defense has to face?
yeah, and other than Mitchell, our cornerback, he's the only like bright spot of our defense. Between the line and the back end.
Here's my
I
question.
just don't think the Eagles' offense can't go point for point with the Saints because of our defense.
Here's my question. Even if A.J. Brown plays, and this has been a problem that you've brought up, that I've seen as well, that a lot of people have seen, Jalen tries to force the ball to A.J. and throws a lot of interceptions because of it.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we have to consider too. Is like you think, oh, A.J. Brown in there, maybe that gives the Eagles a chance. Maybe that gives them something. And listen, A.J. Brown, great receiver. They have great chemistry. He can catch the ball. But sometimes in a tight spot, Jalen will try to force it in there.
Yeah.
And that's when bad things happen. So it's kind of a double-edged sword still. And I think Jalen needs to learn that too. Of sometimes maybe just pull the ball down. Sometimes maybe just throw it away. Don't force it in to A.J. Brown. And don't cause a problem. Don't turn the ball over. Don't Will Levis the situation. You don't want to Will Levis the situation. You never want to be with Will Levis. Unless you have your Menes Cologne. Then you can do that. Chargers and Steelers, again, me and you, lockstep. Are we lockstep in all of our goddamn picks this week?
I think you copied my homework.
This is nonsense. This is nonsense. Like we both have the Steelers. Listen, I love what the Chargers are doing, but listen, it comes down to two words: Steelers defense. Sorry, that's at the end of the day, they're going to win them games. I think this is another one that they're going to win. They're at home. They're going to be playing Renegades super loud. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Like it's going to be it's and listen, if there's a crowd that will get absolutely lathered up and rock hard for a 10-6 game, it's a Pittsburgh Steelers crowd. That defensive football, low scoring, T.J. Watt knocking the snot out of Herbert. They're going, oh, yeah, way to go, T.J. Woo! Like, they're going to be all over it. So,
and I did just see Herbert's dealing with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I saw. I saw he had a boot on. I'm pretty sure he's going to play, but
it's one hit. That's all it takes.
TJ's going to make it a little bit of hell on him.
Yeah.
We both got the Bucks over the Broncos. You can't go against Baker. You can't go against the Baker, man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Throwing those touchdowns and rolling and poking it and marking it with a B. Putting it in the oven for Baker and me.
You started off good there. Then you went shitty in the middle, but you totally
finished strong.
Yourself at the end.
Listen, just like it comes with my fiance, all you have to do is finish strong. Everything else doesn't matter. But yeah, Bo Nix is. I think the question we have to ask here: does Bo Nix throw a touchdown in this game? Yes or no?
No.
I agree. I think it's a negative ghostwriter on that one. What do we have next? We have the Packers and the Titans. And I see, we finally got something different. Thank the fucking Lord. Packers and Titans, we're both picking the Packers. Again, for me, it feels simple of just Malik Willis played a very good managed game, didn't screw up, didn't turn the ball over. Was even able to hold the football with puke all over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My man did his job and did it well. Will Levis is a big reason why the Titans are 0-2. The Titans could potentially be 1-1 or potentially 2-0.
Yeah.
If not for his score. Like, we see the Bears. We see how the Bears are. And we see their offensive stats for their Week 1 game against the Titans. Not great. But the Bears won because of their defense, because of the turnovers, and because of how Listen, when you have a picture of just you on the ground going, surrender, Cobra, it's not great. It's not great for you. So I think the Packers do pull this one out. And listen, if Malik Willis goes here 2-0 in absence of Love, and then Love comes back next week, or maybe if they go 2-0, maybe they say, heal an extra week. I doubt it because they're playing the Vikings.
I was going to say, against the Vikings, no.
But it might give you thought. It might be like, let's see. And also, we'll see what the Vikings do this week, too, I think, is going to be a big part of that.
Yeah.
We both have the Raiders. They're playing the Panthers.
Here's a question I want to ask you. Since our picks have like the percentage for win to
Yes.
to win the game, do you think the Panthers will ever be 10% or higher?
No.
This is like
you'll never
10%
of the people will never pick the Panthers this season.
Yeah. that's just sad.
There's no other. The only time I think, here's the thing. The only time I think it'll be close. The only time I think it'll be close is the Munich game versus the Giants. And that depends on how the Giants play up until that game. Like, all of a sudden, like, if we see Daniel Jones improve himself, if we see the Giants' offense kind of clicking, I think you won't see it go, because people will say, man, Giants are bad, but they can still move the ball better than the Panthers can. If we see a regression again from Danny Dimes, if we see the Giants' offense kind of stumble and fall again, instead of kind of building on what they had in the last game against the Washington football team or Redskin Commanders, who apparently have the family of two guns trying to get the Redskins' name back. So everybody kind of wants the name back, except for a very small group of white people. But listen, we have to understand the name's not coming back. It's okay. Bring the logo back. The logo was awesome.
Yeah.
The logo was not offensive to anybody. The logo was great. You can make an argument about the name, that's fine. You want to argue about the name, that's fine. Call them the Washington Americans, but throw that. They threw the baby out with the bathwater, Jimbo. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
Maybe that's like a happy medium, like a negotiation. Like, listen, we won't bring the name back, but how about we just bring the logo back?
Bring the logo and the branding back. All that can come back. Yeah. Leave the name. Like, even if you just say Washington football team and just have the logo, fine, I don't care. But the logo should still be there. It's a great logo. But yes, they're the Panthers. There's no further reason necessary. Watch the way this season has gone. Watch them win like 42-3 against the Raiders. Here where we have our difference, I have the Dolphins winning with Skylar Thompson over the Seattle Seahawks, and you have the Seahawks at home taking over the Dolphins. Jimbo, why have you gone against clearly what is the correct answer and picked the Seahawks at home?
They have no quarterback. I mean, who the hell is Skylar Thompson?
Skylar Thompson almost won a playoff game in Buffalo in January. Like, the guy can play ball.
Did he start, or did he come into...
He started, because Tua was in the midst of all his concussion shit.
Oh, okay.
So
I just think that there's a lot of shit going on with Miami that I just don't think they could overcome. I think their season's done. Unless they can find a quarterback.
I don't. Let's pause. Like I said, Skylar Thompson, I think he can play ball. Is he going to be Aaron Rodgers? Clearly not.
No.
But again, is he going to be like a Malik Willis in Green Bay? Maybe. Game manager, don't turn over the ball.
But that's not that offense.
And when you got to change the offense, and this is where you got coaching involved, and this is where you have all those stuffs, and you have to adjust it. But also, it doesn't hurt when you can throw a ball within a 10-yard radius of either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, and you know they're going to catch it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't hurt either. So, again, you still have those weapons. You still have Achane in the backfield. Mostert, I don't know if he's playing in this game yet, or if he's cleared yet, or if he's going to be coming back yet, or when he is. But even if that happens, so then you'll have a running game still behind you. Like, he's not lacking for weapons. He's not lacking for assistance. And the Dolphins are still a very talented team on offense. They're a good team on defense. And they're going up against a Seattle team that has zero run game and a bad defense, in my mind.
Yeah.
And again, they're 2-0 by the skin of their teeth, by almost beating, by just barely beating the Patriots in overtime last week. And again, even against the Broncos, who are clearly not great, they almost gave the game away and gave the Broncos a chance. If it wasn't for a Broncos penalty at the end of the game, turning a 3rd and 11 to a 3rd and 6, the Broncos were most likely going to get the ball back with a chance, and I say chance, to tie the game late in that game against Seattle. So kind of Denver shot themselves in the foot. But Seattle has not shown me anything enough, and I think the Dolphins still have enough weapons to go ahead and get the win up there in the Great Pacific Northwest. Also, the Seahawks aren't wearing their throwback uniforms all year, so this is my kind of punishment for them for doing that. Like, you need to wear those all the time.
Here's another thing for me. East Coast flying out to West Coast. East Coast teams always have trouble flying out to West Coast teams.
Not necessarily. That's not necessarily. And we're not late in the season enough to where the weather is going to be a factor. Like, oh my God, it's too cold for Miami. Like that's not going to be the case here in late September.
Yeah.
So I don't see that. This one I'm actually surprised by, but kind of by both of us here, because I was talking with my father about this one too. He went and picked the Lions. We both have the Cardinals here. Did the win against the Rams convince us that much, or are you just down on the Lions right now, Jimbo?
I'm kind of down on the Lions right now. I thought they would be 2-0 by now, and even though I have them number 2 or number 3 in my power rankings.
Yeah, you didn't move them after their loss to old Baker boy.
Yeah, but again, I mean Baker and Tampa Bay is a good team. It's not like they lost to the Dolphins with no Tua playing quarterback. But
Baker, the touchdown maker.
I'll say this: if Arizona wins, whether it's 2 points or 20 points, that hand better start being on the panic button for Detroit, because this is not the team I expected.
No, I would not go that far yet. Would there be some concern? Would I think they have to iron things out? Yes. But here's the other thing that I think, again, retroactively we learned last week is not only are the Cardinals a better team than we thought going into the season. I think because of that, I think the Bills are a better team than we thought they were coming into the season. And if the Cardinals are able to get a win here, again, I don't think it's so much that it's a bad Lions team or that there's something incredibly wrong that can't be fixed and their season's over. It's only week 3. Their season will not be over. They'll be 1-2. Again, it won't be disaster city yet. It will be time to maybe reevaluate things, maybe have the dreaded players-only meeting. Who knows? But they're playing in Arizona. Arizona look good. Again, are they going to be able to stop Hutchinson? That's a big – like, Hutchinson had a career game, and Baker was still able to pull out the win. And again, the Lions made a lot of mistakes. They screwed up at the end of the first half trying to get the field goal unit on there and missed their chance to kick a field goal to get some extra points up there, which, would have meant a lot during the game. Could have changed the whole focus of the game. You never know. So I think there are some problems with Detroit, but I don't think it's something that they can't iron out. And again, they could very easily come into this game and win. I'm gonna put a little faith into the Cardinals based on their first 2 games, and say that they're going to be coming up against the Lions team that seems to have struggled a little bit. They struggled against the Rams, winning in overtime, and they clearly had some problems with Baker and Tampa coming in there and stealing the win there in Detroit. And I think the Cardinals almost they kind of feel like that. They feel almost like a Tampa light right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the stats to back any of that up. This is just a, King says crazy shit kind of thing. But that's what it kind of feels like to me. So that's why I went that way. My dad says I'm dumb. So if there's somebody who would know that, it's my dad. So you can't argue with the man. Can't argue. Next up, hey, we got another different one. Look at that. I have the Dallas Cowboys, while you have selected to get their first win of the year, the Baltimore Ravens. Jimbo, explain yourself.
As far as the Ravens go, like that gut feeling of, I think this is the game they finally figure out the offense, offensive line maybe starts playing a little bit better by running the ball with Derrick Henry the right way, not in shotgun, just getting them north and south, not east to west. And Dallas showed last week they can't stop the run with Alvin Kamara. So that, defensively, I think Dallas is, as of right now, in trouble. So that's kind of why I have the Ravens winning this one. I think they're a slightly better team overall than Dallas, and I think they figured out the issues.
To say that Dallas defense is in trouble is a wild statement to make. Did they have an off game last game? Clearly. Did they run into a buzzsaw known as the same? I think they ran into a buzzsaw. Maybe weren't prepared. Maybe they didn't prepare right. But if there's one thing I know for a fact, it's that Micah Parsons is going to have that defensive unit ready to play in this game. And there's no other question about it. They're going to be ready for the Ravens. And the Ravens, offensively, which is a wild statement to make in week 3, their offense ain't no New Orleans Saints.
No.
So,
but the run game could potentially be.
Again, Derrick Henry hasn't done much. He hasn't done much. Lamar can't throw down the field. You want to talk about Dallas having problems. The Ravens have problems on both sides of the ball. And again, you're talking about a team that, listen, Dallas lost to the Saints, who right now look like an offensive juggernaut. Is that real? Is that just early season, loftiness? I don't know. But the Ravens lost to the Raiders and blew that game.
Yeah.
They had a stranglehold in that game and made so many mistakes and cocked it up so badly that they lost. So, and now they're traveling to Dallas. Dallas is going now back at home where they just got embarrassed. I think there's a less than 0% chance that Dallas loses 2 straight games at home and drops to, 1-2 that would be? But here's the thing, and this is the thing you got to think about. Ooh, I hit my bucket back again. Let's pull this up there. If the Ravens lose, they'll be 0-3. And if, the picks that we have here set up the way they're going, that means the Steelers would be 3-0. Could you imagine? We could be in week 3, after week 3, and the Steelers would have a 3-game lead over the Ravens?
Yeah.
Your sister may never come down from the clouds. For anybody who doesn't know, Jimbo's sister is a huge Steelers fan. As big of an Eagles fan as Jimbo is, his sister, massive Steelers fan. So the only thing I think that would make her happier than the Steelers winning is the Ravens losing. And if they lose and go down 0-3, here's the thing. I think this is as close to a must-win. Well, this is an absolute must-win game for the Ravens, and I think it's close to, if not equally, a must-win game for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You can't, if you're the Cowboys, I don't think you can drop to 1-2. Especially if the Eagles do lose in New Orleans, you can't fail to capitalize on yet another Eagles loss with another loss of yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do that and think that you're still going to be viable for the division. The Cowboys have a chance to take a stranglehold of the division very early on here. I don't think they're going to miss that opportunity. That's why I think they're going to go ahead and win. In the MASH Bowl, in the Hospital Bowl, in the Emergency Room Bowl, whatever you want to fucking call it. We both have the Niners over the Rams. The Rams are just a walking MASH unit, as are the Niners. Everybody's hurt on the Niners. It's week 3. Everybody's hurt. But I think San Francisco's got a little bit more depth, I guess. I'll put it to that. I think they have more depth, and they're going to be able to go ahead and pull off the win. Plus, the game is in Los Angeles, but when the Niners play there, it is San Francisco South. It's Levi Stadium South. It's always just again. That's where everybody. If the Raiders play down there, it's all Raiders. It's really honestly the opponent's teams fill up SoFi Stadium. SoFi, I love that the Rams saying their slogan they have is Rams house. Or whose house? Rams house. It's like, this is our house. This is Rams house. It is everybody else's house except the Rams.
Yeah.
That is nobody else's house. So, yeah, I think we both have the Niners on that one. Unfortunately, it's hard to really get a deep dive into that because who the fuck is playing? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Everybody's hurt.
Like you said, I mean, the Rams, they got Stafford, and the Niners, they got average Purdy and
Brock
Deebo
Purdy!
Samuel. Even Applebee's knows he can't pass. He's got to hand the ball off to Saquon.
Which, at least he knows how to do that, unlike the Eagles.
Well, that's because they have Applebee's calling the plays, not Kellen Moore.
Oh, see, that's the
ball.
See, if Kellen Moore went to Applebee's and drank a couple more Dollaritas, he'd be set. He'd know. Just fucking run it. I don't care.
No,
These are great.
That's what happened. Yeah, pass it. Just pass it.
So that's how we have that one. Then we have Sunday night. We have the defending Super Bowl champion, the Kansas City Chiefs, and probably Taylor Swift. Oh my God. They will be and I will have the Taylor counter out for that. I might make a flag counter as well. But she will be out probably in the Butthole Dome in Atlanta as the Chiefs take on the Falcons, who just beat your Eagles in improbable comeback fashion, which was great to watch, by the way. I just wanted to say that. We both have the Falcons on this one, which is, again, surprising, since 90% of the picks are going towards the Chiefs. Jimbo, I'll let you explain first. Why did you pick the Atlanta Falcons?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Deep. That's why people come here to Friday Forecast and Stay Tuned Sports. It's that deep analytical. Which, by the way, I think we've pointed out before, we're not those guys. We are not the deep analytical people. We are not the, hey, look at the stats and look at everything that people. We're the two drunk idiots that you see at the bar just yelling at stuff, yelling at, you don't know what you're talking about. That's us. That's what we do. God bless you, Donnie. But yeah.
I think I picked this game still pissed off. But I will say, just looking at both teams, just how this week has been going.
You can change your pick. You can always change your pick.
I'll keep it. I call him Pikachu, Kansas City's running back that broke his leg. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, the Rutgers boy. Do not disrespect New Jersey or Rutgers. How dare you, sir?
I think that's going to be a big loss for Kansas City. Atlanta side, Kirk Cousins looked good. Bijan Robinson looked good. Granted, it was the Eagles' run defense, so I don't expect him to do what he did against the Eagles, but I think he'll still be serviceable. And this actually might be a entertaining game. Probably the first time this year for Sunday night.
Kansas City had struggled in their first two games to look good. And again, they won against the Ravens by a toe and what would have been either a 2-point conversion. So they still might have won the game too, but it was basically a toenail by which they won against the Ravens. And whether you agree with the call or not, it was a pass interference call that bailed them out to beat the Bengals. Otherwise, the Bengals win that game. So the Chiefs are literally a C hair away from being 0-2. Maybe Taylor Swift C hair. I don't know. We don't know where it came from, but it is a C hair, and that's how close they've been to being 0-2. I think at some point that has to run out.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep playing that way and think you're going to win. And for the Falcons, boy, coming off that win, now you're coming back home after that disappointing game against the Steelers. Kirk Cousins, maybe he got a little bit, maybe that kind of jolted him out. Maybe they're starting to get a little bit of a flow back. Bijan Robinson looking good. They got to get Kyle Pitts more involved in the offense, and maybe they can do that in this game. Just something about it makes me feel like it's the Falcons' turn in this, and that the Chiefs being it feels like one of those games. And I think we
Yeah.
talked about this earlier on when we were doing the countdown and doing the early Friday forecast, where we were predicting the divisions and how teams do, how we got to the records and stuff like that. Like always, teams have like these kind of games. This seems like an early season one of those kind of games where it's like a lot of people think, oh, Chiefs, Falcons. Well, clearly Chiefs are going to go in there and win. But looking at how the Chiefs have played, and those first two games were at home in Kansas City, and they still struggled to get 2 wins there.
Yeah.
And you can call it luck, you can call it, whatever you want to call it. They were able to pull it out. It feels like for this Sunday night, it feels like luck's going to be on the Falcons side. So we both have the Falcons for that one, which is very, very interesting. I was not expecting that from you. Anyway, I thought you would be fully Chiefs. And then we have 2 goddamn Monday night games. NFL, stop doing this. This is
I'm
dumb.
okay with that as long as the first game is 7 o'clock or 7:30.
Yeah, no. So the good thing is that you'll be able to watch it and do the live stream with us. So that'll be fine. But just stop doing it. It's dumb. Stop. Why don't you just have regular Monday night games start at 7:30? That would be great too.
No, we gotta worry about the West Coast.
We gotta get the prime time on the way. It gotta be It's only gonna be 4:30. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you live in California. California sucks. Move east, bastards. For the first Monday night game, we have the Jaguars and Bills. We both have the Bills in that one. Sorry, Trevor Lawrence ain't the guy. I'm sorry.
No.
You paid an extraordinary amount of money for a guy who is not the guy. If anybody wanted to make the Daniel Jones contract look better, boy, the Jaguars have done it. And I'm sorry, he hasn't looked good. He hasn't looked like he's progressed. He does he looks like how he ended last year. So I don't know what's going on with the Jaguars. But now they got to go up to Buffalo. They got to play there. And just when the Bills look like they're hitting their stride, this one could get ugly. This one might be bad. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we both have the Bills on that one. I think that's a fairly easy one. Nothing really to go in depth with it on that one.
Yeah.
It's just like Bills, Jaguars. Seems like it's Bills. This one I think is going to be closer than either one of us may think. We both picked the Bengals over the Washington football team of Redskins Commanders. It depends on what Bengals team shows up.
Yeah.
But I think, again, the Bengals are in a situation where they have to win, and I think they have just the right opponent in Washington to go ahead and try to make that happen. Because here's the thing. If you drop to 0-3 and you lose your third game to Washington, like, this is not the game you want to have the Jaden Daniels breakout game.
Yeah.
This is not what you want if you're the Bengals. So they have to be able to. I understand they have some injuries. I understand their running game ain't what it was. They got rid of Mixon because they thought, he's past his time. Mixon right now killing it down in Houston. His ankle, I think, is still messed up from the hip drop tackle, which the refs are not calling this year whatsoever, which is. Whatever, however you felt about it, whether you thought it should have been a penalty or not, or they're not letting them play football. It's technically on the books as a penalty, but the refs are just like, I'll say it. That's fine. All right, whatever. But as long as everybody knows that, that'll be fine. But again, I think it's desperation here for the Bengals. They're at home Monday night against what is ostensibly a weaker opponent, even though the Bengals are 0-2 and Washington's 1-1. I still think the Bengals get their first win of the year that they so very desperately need. And maybe this is what kind of kickstarts them. What we always like to call the get-right game. I think this is the Bengals' get-right game. And that's why they're going to go ahead and win against the Washington football team of Redskins Commanders.
The only thing I would add, because I agree with you. The only thing I'd add, though, is if they win by just a couple points, I think I'd still be a little bit worried about the Bengals. Like, I think they need to win big. They need to blow them out to feel like they got that confidence back, that Bengals team that we know who they are, not what they've been showing so far.
So you think you're looking for they're going to put the foot on the pedal and not let it up all game, which could be, and maybe that's what they need to do. Because that Washington defense isn't great because they let Daniel Jones and the Giants carve them up last week.
Yeah.
And that's not a great look to have if you're a defense? Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. So there we go. That's our picks for this Friday. We're going to see how we do that. How we do during the week. Again, maybe I do a little bit better. I'm sure some people look at these picks and like, King, you're not doing better. You're going to do probably a little bit worse. And that might be true. That might be true. But again, a lot of feeling in the game. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to put it there. You got to trust the Jedi mind, man. You got to trust the Force. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. You must feel. Search with your feelings. You know they be true. And that's how I do my picks. Hasn't worked great so far, but we'll see. We'll see how my Jedi trading goes. Jimbo, what do you got coming up this weekend other than football? We got Notre Dame football coming up on Saturday against another MAC opponent. Please don't fuck this up, Notre Dame.
And they're a 28-point favorite, so we'll probably lose by 28.
Please don't fuck this up.
Well, I'll tell you this. I will turn on the first quarter because last game I literally watched maybe 5 minutes of it because I was still so pissed off at them. I will watch first quarter. If I see a Notre Dame team playing like they played against North Illinois, I will turn it off, go outside and do yard work because I know how that story ends.
Oh, I certainly hope that that's not the case. So I certainly hope that you stay on the couch and watch the whole game because they need that. Like last week was fun. Last week was a fun game to watch. So hopefully Notre Dame can kind of keep that up. But again, hopefully. I worry because they're at home and they're against a MAC opponent, and you get that when you run into that MAC-tion, baby. Sometimes you get bit, and they already got bit once. If they get bit twice, I mean, clearly the season will be over. Like even now, it's a little questionable because you can't lose to Northern Illinois.
Even with the big win that we had last week, we moved up one spot. Maybe
we moved up one spot after a 66-7 win. Yeah.
Yeah. And Purdue was
against a team that I think is better than NIU. I think if NIU plays Purdue, Purdue probably wins.
Yeah.
I think that game that Notre Dame played, they were just either overconfident or unprepared or both, or I don't know what happened in that game, but you saw it was sloppy and they let them hang around and they just, it wasn't great. And then you see what happened last week where they put the foot on the throat and did not let it up. They said, we're not doing that mistake again. So I certainly hope that they keep that mindset and they face Miami, Ohio the same way they do that. The old Miami of Ohio Red Hawks, who of course used to also be the Redskins. But their college changed those a long time ago. Some of the names that like Red Hawks, that's pretty cool. St. John's went with Red Storm. I remember that. I remember when I was in New York, they changed from Red Men to Red Storm.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense. Don't know what a red storm is. No idea.
It's a storm that's red. Duh.
Yeah, are we on fucking Mars? Like, what the fuck? I don't even know what a red storm is. But still, so hopefully Notre Dame does that. Anything else? You got anything else going on before we see each other next, which will be at 1 p.m. To see the Saints and the
Giants
Eagles
and the Browns
do battles. No. Listen. We made the executive decision. We're going to watch the Saints and the Eagles. I'll be watching both games clearly by myself, but we'll be broadcasting. We'll be doing the play-by-play and reactions to the Saints and Eagles. We're not actually broadcasting the thing. We can't do that. YouTube doesn't allow that. Don't come into the chat and be like, "Where's the game? Show them the game." We can't do that. We'll get kicked off, and we're trying to get subscribers, and we're trying to get to monetization before we get demonetized. Yes, we have to reach it first before we can get demonetized. So, respect the order of things, please. Will you? But yeah, I've kind of got the same thing going on. Probably going to do, you got a couple things you got to do, a couple chores, a little bit of laundry.
Actually, I'm making some homemade apple cider tomorrow.
Hard cider?
We went apple. So I gotta make the apple cider first to make
because I want to get, because there are apple ciders you can buy in the store that don't have the preservatives in it.
Okay.
and I want to buy those because I have yeast. Not that kind of yeast. I don't have a yeasty codpiece, as Jack Sparrow would say. I have some yeast, and I kind of wanted to do like a homemade, like a home done apple cider, hard cider. Make it real dry, like I like it. Just pucker the mouth, make it look like a butthole. That's my kind of apple cider that I'm looking for. So I've been looking to do that. So that would be actually pretty neat. You get the apple, you go apple picking, get the apples, juice the apples, make the apple cider, and then ferment it. Like, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
So until Sunday, when you'll see us again here on Stay Tuned Sports for the Eagles and Saints, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you like what you watch, please like, share, subscribe for all the reasons I said before. Helps us out tremendously with the algorithm, with getting towards monetization, which hopefully reaching 100 subscribers soon, eventually, maybe. We'll see. Maybe something cool will happen. I don't know. But until then, I'm your boy King. That right over there is your friend Jimbo, and we will see you on Sunday, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend.